I was 15 when I learned that some games should never be played after midnight. It started as a joke, really. My best friend Eli came over that Friday night while my parents were out of town. We'd been friends since kindergarten, the kind of friend who feels more like a brother. It was supposed to be a chill night, junk food, horror movies, maybe a few video games. But around 11:47 p.m., the power flickered. Just once, long enough for everything to go dark, and for Eli to whisper, "Dude, let's play hide and seek." I laughed. "At midnight? You're insane." He grinned, flashlight under his chin. "Exactly. That's what makes it fun." We set the rules right there in the living room, only inside the house. No attic, no basement. You can't hide in the same place twice. First to be found loses. No scaring the other person on purpose. I didn't realize that last one would be broken before the game even really started. Eli counted first. I ran upstairs, trying not to make noise. My parents' house wasn't big, but every step creaked. The clock in the hallway ticked too loud, like it was mocking me. I ducked into the guest room, lifted the bed skirt, and slid under. Dust coated my face, but it felt like a perfect spot. From downstairs, I heard Eli's voice counting. 47, 48, 49, 50. Silence. I could hear the floorboards shift as he started moving. His footsteps echoed faintly, slow, deliberate. Closer. I held my breath. The doorknob to the guest room turned. I saw his shoes, black sneakers with the ripped lace, stop just inches from the bed. Then, nothing. Just breathing. Heavy. Way too heavy for Eli. My heart pounded. I almost screamed, but then... "Hey!" Eli's voice came from downstairs. "You hiding up there, man?" I froze. My throat went dry. If Eli was downstairs, who was standing in this room with me? The shoes shifted, turning toward the bed. I could hear faint, wet breathing, like someone struggling to breathe through their nose. My eyes watered from the dust and fear. Then, slowly, the shoes walked toward the closet. I waited, every muscle in my body shaking. The sound of the closet door creaking open filled the room. Then silence again. Finally, I heard footsteps leaving. When I crawled out, my phone flashlight trembled in my hand. The room was empty, but the closet door was wide open. I ran downstairs. Eli was in the kitchen, pouring soda. "Bro, were you just in the guest room?" I asked, my voice cracking. He looked at me like I was crazy. "No. I've been down here waiting for you. You hiding or what?" I wanted to tell him, but something in me said not to. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe I was imagining things. I forced a laugh. "Yeah, you found me." But that night, even after we stopped playing, I kept glancing toward the hallway, half expecting to see someone standing at the top of the stairs. And just before I went to sleep, I heard it again. 1, 2, 3. A whisper, counting. Coming from inside the closet. The next morning, sunlight filled the room like nothing ever happened. Eli was already downstairs scrolling through his phone, blasting some random TikTok audio. I tried to shake off the night before, convincing myself it was just nerves, shadows, dust, imagination. But deep down, I knew I'd heard something real. We spent the day doing normal stuff, ordered pizza, watched some horror movie about a haunted doll, laughed too loud. Every time I looked toward the guest room door, though, I felt that same cold prickle at the back of my neck. "Dude," Eli said around noon. "You good? You've been zoning out since last night." "Yeah," I lied. "Didn't sleep much?" By evening, my parents still hadn't come back. The house was ours again. The quiet felt heavier than usual. Eli grinned suddenly. "Round 2 of hide and seek? Double or nothing?" I wanted to say no. I should have said no. But the way he smirked made it feel like I had to. "Fine," I said. "But this time, I count first." We dimmed the lights again, left just one flashlight on the kitchen counter. I leaned against the wall and started counting. 1, 2, 3. I listened to his footsteps fade away into the darkness. The house swallowed the sound like a mouth closing. 48, 49, 50. I opened my eyes. Silence. I started searching, calling out softly. Ready or not, here I come. The living room was empty. So was the dining area. Upstairs, doors creaked open one after another. No Eli. Then I reached the guest room. The air was cold, colder than anywhere else in the house. My breath came out in faint mist. The bed was neatly made this time. I checked under it, heart hammering. Nothing. When I stood up, the closet door was closed again. I didn't remember closing it. Eli? I called. No answer. I reached for the handle, hand shaking. The second I touched it, I heard it again, that counting. But this time, it wasn't a whisper. It was right behind the door. 47, 48, 49. I stumbled back so hard I nearly fell. Eli, cut it out! Silence. Then the voice said something else, softer, deeper, like two voices speaking together. Ready or not? My stomach dropped. I ran downstairs yelling for Eli. He came out from the garage, holding a box of snacks. Dude, what happened? He asked. You were just upstairs, I said. In the guest room you were counting. He frowned. No, I was out here the whole time. You're pale, man. You sure you're okay? Before I could answer, something fell upstairs, a loud thud, like a chair being kicked over. Eli and I froze. We looked at each other. Then he whispered, Was that your parents' room? No, I said. It came from the guest room. We crept upstairs together. Every step groaned like the house was warning us not to. The guest room door was wide open now. The bed was flipped halfway off its frame. And on the wall, drawn in the dust, were handprints. Small ones? Dozens of them. Eli muttered, What the hell is this? I didn't answer. I just pointed at the closet. The door was open a crack, swinging slightly as if someone had just slipped inside. Stay here, Eli whispered. No way. He took one step forward. The door creaked wider. We both held our breath. Nothing moved. Then something rolled out, a toy ball. Not ours. A little red rubber ball, cracked and faded. It stopped at Eli's shoe. I grabbed his arm. We're done. Game's over. We backed away, down the hall. Then the voice spoke again, not from the room, not from any direction, but from everywhere. 50. We both bolted. Down the stairs, through the kitchen, out the back door. We didn't stop running until we were halfway across the street. From there, we could still see my house, completely dark, quiet. But in the upstairs window of the guest room, the curtain moved. Someone was standing there. Watching. Eli whispered, Call your parents. I did. They didn't pick up. We went to his place that night, and I swore I wouldn't go back until my parents were home. But even from his room across the street, I could see that window. And at 3:12 a.m., when I looked again, the curtain was open, and the light was on. A shadow moved past the glass. Slowly. Deliberately. Like someone was still playing. When my parents got back Sunday evening, I didn't tell them everything, just that the power flickered, and Eli and I thought we saw something weird. I didn't mention the whispering, the handprints, or the red ball. They would have laughed, or worse, thought we were just being dramatic teenagers. But that night, after they went to bed, I stood at my window staring at the guest room across the hall. The light in there was still off. The door was closed. Everything looked normal again. Almost too normal. At 12:03 a.m., I heard the sound again, soft footsteps on the wooden floorboards above me. My parents' room was downstairs. No one should have been up there. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and crept out into the hallway. The air felt heavy, like the house was holding its breath. The stairs groaned beneath me. The closer I got to the top, the colder it got. When I reached the landing, I heard it, faint but unmistakable. 1, 2, 3. Counting. Coming from inside the guest room. I hesitated, phone shaking in my hand. Then I texted Eli. Me, it's happening again. Eli, bro, stop. It's midnight. Me, I'm serious. It's counting. Eli, stay out of that room. Promise me. I didn't reply. I opened the door. The smell hit me first musty, like damp wood and something old. The flashlight beam trembled across the bed, the walls, the closet door. It was slightly open again, as always. 47, 48. The voice wasn't coming from the closet this time. It was coming from the wall behind it. I pressed my ear against the wallpaper. The counting was clear, close, as if someone was inside the wall. I stepped back, terrified, then noticed something I hadn't before, a narrow gap between the closet and the wall panel. It looked like someone had pried it open once. That's when my flashlight flickered. And I saw it just for a second. A pale hand sliding back into the gap. Thin fingers dragging across the wood, leaving streaks of dust. I stumbled backward, hit the doorframe, and bolted downstairs. My parents woke up when they heard me yelling. Dad grabbed a flashlight and stormed upstairs. But when he opened the closet, there was nothing. The gap I'd seen was gone, sealed tight, as if it had never been there. "Son, there's nothing here," he said, tired and annoyed. I just stood there, shaking. They told me to sleep in their room for the night. I didn't argue. But around 2:30 a.m., something woke me again, a faint tapping sound. It was coming from under the bed. My mom's breathing was steady beside me. Dad was snoring. I leaned over the side and lifted the blanket. The red ball rolled out slowly from the shadows. I froze. Then a voice whispered from underneath. "Your turn." I screamed. My parents jolted awake, turning on every light. They found nothing, no one under the bed, no ball, nothing. But I knew what I saw. I knew what I heard. The next morning, I begged them to let me stay at Eli's for a few days. They agreed, maybe just to calm me down. Eli listened quietly as I told him everything. When I mentioned the counting and the hand, his face went pale. "I didn't want to say this before," he said, "but last night I heard someone knocking on my window. 3 times. When I looked, I thought I saw you." "Me?" "Yeah. You were standing there, smiling." He paused. "Except your eyes looked wrong. We didn't sleep that night. Every noise made us jump. Every shadow looked alive. By Monday, my parents called, said they found something strange while cleaning the guest room. Behind the dresser, they'd uncovered an old vent grate. Inside was a piece of paper, yellowed with age. It was a list. Names. Dates. Each one written in a child's handwriting. The last entry was from 1998. Beside it was a note. "Game still on. Waiting for next players." That was the year the house was built. We moved out a month later. My parents never talked about it again. The new owners remodeled the guest room, sealed the walls, replaced the floors. But sometimes, when I drive past that street, I still slow down. The lights in the house are always off except for one. The guest room window. And every time I pass, I swear I see someone standing there, looking out. Counting. 47, 48, 49. And I keep driving before it reaches 50. Because I know what happens then. That's when it starts looking for a new player.